The Auditor General has submitted a report to Parliament about the Social Health Authority procurement of systems. The amounts of money involved are crazy. 104 billion Kenya shillings. In your report, you have listed a litany of transgressions of the law, the Constitution, the Procurement Act, the PFM Act. You have said management was in breach of law. In several instances, you've said it almost 10 times. What these commentators on Radio in the Morning were asking, now that the Auditor General has said management is in breach of law, we are waiting for Parliament to go and whitewash the report. OAG, I can assure you that if that report is to come before this committee, we are not going to whitewash it. If you have gone to the ground, you have asked for documents, and you have found that 104 billion was spent on a specially permitted procurement procedure, which is contrary to the Constitution of Kenya. Do I need to get a governor to come and justify that the SHA was proper? And yet you are the one with the constitutional mandate to tell us whether resources have been used lawfully and efficiently. And so we must have this conversation. Once the Auditor General has said that the procurement of 104 billion of systems under SHA violated Article 227 of the Constitution of Kenya, violated the Procurement and Assets Disposal Act, violated the PFM Act, was not value for money. There were clauses and provisions in there that were not competitive. There was a software as a service arrangement, which then does not confer ownership of the system to the citizens of Kenya. And you have said management is in breach of law. What else are we waiting for? Shouldn't we then be asking for administrative action, for people to be fired, for people to be investigated, for people to be arraigned in court? And those people are not just the people on the government of Kenya side, but including the system vendors. If there's a breach, then perhaps there are two parties to it.
We cannot continue using a system that is clearly a proceed of crime. It appears that the only people for whom SHA is working are the ones who are getting these commissions, the 2.5% from my monthly contribution. You have told us that they have to be paid on a daily basis. And yet the facilities themselves do not get similar treatment when they ask for reimbursement for their claims, Madam OAG. So can we, with finality, say something? Can we take drastic action? Because some of us do not mind being a bit rash if we are going to do something that is in the best interest of the country. Can we agree before this committee that we want to terminate that contract? And what are going to be the consequences? Because we can't continue to allow people to enjoy proceeds of crime. Let's just declare this SHA and SHIF a criminal enterprise, and we'll close it today.
In every report that comes before you, where I pay attention to Article 296. So already I have concluded that there was no effectiveness or lawfulness in the use of public resources under those matters. Then I have the third section that now looks inward into the entity in terms of governance, in terms of risk management, in terms of the internal controls the Honourable Member is raising. And I also give a conclusion. And I said these matters have affected internal controls, or internal controls are not being followed. The governance structure has problems. There is no risk management. And hence, then we have all these issues happening under effectiveness and under the opinion matters fiscal. So my report is very clear on that I have already pronounced myself on the issues that were not lawful and that were not effective.
Our job would be to mete out punishment, to recommend administrative action, to recommend investigation and prosecution. The Auditor General has done the diagnosis. It is now time for Parliament to do the prescription. And that prescription is not about reopening the case, because it's the Auditor General that has done the case. The role of Parliament now is to prescribe, and to prescribe the stiffest punishment, even if it means discontinuation of the system, debarment of the service providers, investigation and prosecution of accounting officers, striking off the professionals from their professional bodies, the procurement professionals, the legal professionals, the accountants. I think that's what you're saying, that now that is the job of Parliament, to do the prescription. You have told us the patient is sick. We are now the ones to prescribe. And I hope that the National Assembly and all the various committees can speak in the same language to provide hope to the country that these big issues you have raised regarding 104 billion Kenya shillings is not going to get lost